100 Days of Main Comics, Round 3, Week 9. Greetings, people of the internet. I'm Scott with Serkworks Art Labs. Welcome, mad creators, to the underground laboratory where we create robots, aliens, zombies, and other imminent threats to humanity. Threats like werewolves, threats like unicorns? Yes, unicorns. I don't usually think of unicorns as a threat, but I guess they can be. Well, what am I talking about anyway? Werewolves and unicorns. Well, that is the theme of the 100 Days of Main Comics Anthology #2 that I am involved with. Again, themed around werewolves and unicorns and other mythical creatures. I kind of fall in that other category as far as what the story that I'm working on is about. Mine's about the Loch Ness Monster. Well, it's about a few different things, but Loch Ness Monster factors into it pretty heavily. So, yeah, and I've been making a lot of progress. I'm finally to like the I don't want to say the fun part, because the drawing part is always fun. I love that. I love that process. But I've actually finished all the penciling, I finished the lettering, I finished all that stuff to the point where now I've printed out my pieces, and I'll kind of go back and I'm going to show you how I did some of this stuff. But I did all the penciling and everything digitally this time around, if you're not familiar. And I printed those out, and what I'm going to do is these are large double-page spreads, so I'm going to splice them together, and then I'm going to start ruling out, before I start doing any brushwork or anything, I'm going to get my microns out, my ruler, and I'll start ruling all the borders out, and anything that needs straight lines and everything. So that's what's going on, or that's what has been going on this past week that I've been working on. I'll show you that whole process. Yeah, but yeah, it's cool. It's one step getting closer to that inking stage, which for me is just sort of like therapy. I love, because it doesn't take a lot of thought. I can just kind of get in the zone and I just love that inking process. And that's one of the reasons why I'm not inking digitally. I just love the feel of ink on paper and everything, and I think I can do it a lot faster than I can digitally, as opposed to the penciling, which I'm discovering that I think I can do the penciling a lot faster digitally than I can traditionally. But I still love to do original sketches and everything like that traditionally. But yeah, this whole thing working in Clip Studio Paint and doing the work digitally has really opened up a new world for me, and I'm kind of digging it. But before I get into that, just quickly, if you're not familiar with this whole thing is about, what I'm talking about, what is the 100 Days of Main Comics Challenge? That is where you spend 30 minutes a day, every day, working on your own personal comic book project. And you do that for 100 days straight, and every day you let people know about it via social media, whatever way you want to do that, whether it's YouTube or Instagram or Facebook or however you want to let people know. But you gotta do that. That's part of it, to kind of hold you accountable and show people what you're doing and the process. And a lot of people have done this. It was started way back in the day by Kevin Cross, and I've kind of been in this. I was lucky to kind of jump in early in the beginning on Kevin's first round, and I don't know how many times he's done it since. You know, more than me, and like I said, this is my third round. But this is a different project. Usually I'm working on my Kids vs. Zombies story, Young and the Dead, which hopefully soon I'll be kickstarting the 4th issue of that. But this is an entirely different story. It's only a 4-page story, but I'm putting a lot of effort into it, and I'm really digging what's going on, and I'm really happy with the way the artwork is. But rather than me just talk about that, why don't I show you? So let's go check that out. Alright, so I'm printing my pages out on my Canon printer. This is an oversized printer, so I can print large sheets of paper like this. And man, I am loving this printer. I've had really bad luck with printers in the past, but so far I love this printer because it does print large format. And I can get super cheap inks, and inks are always so expensive, but I can get cheap inks on Amazon. They're kind of off-brand, but they seem to work. Sometimes the blacks aren't that black, but for something like this, it doesn't matter. So I'm loving this printer, and hopefully, knock on wood, I'll keep having good luck with it and everything. But here I just want to show you some of the pages that I'm printing out, and what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to take these, because these are large double-page spreads, I'm going to splice them together, and I'm going to show you how I do that. I've shown this before on a hack video, but let me go into a little more detail and show you how I do it. All right, so printing these pages out is a little bit tricky. This is an 11 by 17 page, but because there's a bleed, because it's a double page spread, I'm losing some of the art right here. And of course, on printers, they won't print right directly to the edge. So this 11 by 17 isn't going to work. So what I ended up having to do is print out. These are, I think, 12 by 17. I would have liked to do 12 by 18. But unfortunately, the paper I cut down from was only 11 inches high. So, but that's okay because there's really not that much important information on the top or the bottom. And actually, some of the little ruler marks did come out here, so I can see those. So if I need to use that to kind of rule some stuff, which I probably won't need because everything's real nice and tight because I did this digitally. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to splice these two double page spreads together, these two halves of the double page spread. So that's the first one, let's see. And I'm going to do that on my light table. I showed how to do this technique on one of my art hack videos. So hopefully, this is still pretty dark. I'm going to have to dim some of these lights so I can see a little better. Let's see. Here. I think that's better, but it's pretty dark, but I think that looks about right. Let's see. Even with that, do it right here where the light's the brightest. Okay, that looks pretty close. Alright, so what I'm going to do first is I'm going to get out just this blue painter's tape, because it's low tack. You know, it's basically masking tape. Whoa. Where's my light? All right. All right. That way it won't shift. Now I'm gonna just cut right down this line. Get my ruler out. I'm gonna take my ruler down too, just so it won't shift, because sometimes that will happen. Now, I got a brand new X-Acto blade, so this should be super sharp. Oh, and it just the tip just snapped off. This is a pretty thick board. It's a Bristol, so I was surprised that it was able to run through my printer. But I guess it's a pretty good printer. I've had so much bad luck with printers, but this one I have now seems to be pretty good. Alright, now I can just pull these off, and because it's that low tack, it shouldn't mess anything up. But I still want to be careful with it. I'm going to remove this little thing here. And now, I'm going to butt these back up next to each other. And I'm going to put another piece of tape on here. Make sure it's nice and tight. Alright, and I'm going to flip it over. Now I'm going to get some clear Scotch tape or transparent tape. Make sure it's about the right size. And I'm just going to lay that down. There we go. Now that that's secure, I can remove this. Ah, I ripped it. See, I was too fast. Luckily, it's down here at the bottom, so hopefully it's not going to affect it too much. Again. Okay, let me turn these lights on so we can turn the light table off. So yeah, it's as you can see, it's pretty seamless. Now the next step is just to start inking. Okay, now I have my, giant double page spreads that I can work at, and I think I made a mistake when I told you before that the height of the pages were 11 inches tall. I meant to say 17. But anyway, so usually when you're working, there's no really standard for comics, but as far as American comics, a lot of times people will work at 11 by 17, and then they'll reduce those down to the standard American comic book size. So that's kind of what I'm working at. Again, these are double page spreads, so it's larger than that. It's two of those, put together. But I like working at this sort of large scale. But what's really amazing is that, I thought this was a large scale, but what I got to do is I actually got to go, if you saw the last Artcasters on Joshua Kimball's channel, you'll see that I actually got to visit Josh this weekend. We got to work on comics together. A lot of the stuff that was already done before, the stuff that you're seeing now, was stuff that I did over at Josh's house while we were doing the Artcasters, laying some of this stuff out. But his pages are just ginormous. I mean, and I always knew that they were big, but seeing them in person, man, it's incredible. I mean, when he goes to sell those pages, I mean, they're just incredible, just works of art. I mean, just the size. I mean, and just the artwork itself. So, man, it was just really cool to be able to kind of work and draw comics with Josh. But that was part of a whole trip I did. Now, I was sort of mentioning in the beginning how the 100 Days of Making Comics works, and I mentioned how you kind of want to keep accountable and you want to update every day. Now, if you're watching this, then you'll know that I'm doing weekly updates. Now, you can do that. I would recommend that if this is your first time doing the challenge, or if you're thinking about doing the challenge, you really need to do those daily updates. I've done it twice before. So I'm playing a little fast and loose with the rules. So I decided, hey, I've done this because it is a big undertaking to put out those daily videos. And sometimes when you're building a channel, people get tired of, they just can't watch a video every day or whatever. But I think when you're first starting out, it's great because typically, unless you already have an established YouTube channel, but most people starting and you don't have to do it on YouTube. You can do it on Facebook or Instagram or whatever. But if you're going to do it on YouTube, most people are that's probably the beginning of their channel. It was kind of the beginning of where my channel started off. So it's good to kind of get those videos, those daily videos out and everything. But just update daily. And so now that I've done it twice in the past, I've done those daily updates, and I've done, I think this is a little, I'm trying to take it a little easier because I've got so much other stuff. Like my second round, I'm really proud of the work I did. I kind of did sort of a blog style or vlog style format, and just cut in different things, what was going on, and I created. There was some fluidity to the intro, and there was a certain way I was doing it where I was ripping off the pages and like showing each day and all that kind of stuff. This one I'm doing a little bit easier, just because I've got so much other stuff. But I do want to kind of give these weekly updates. But if you're first starting off, I would recommend that you do the daily updates. Now, the other way that I'm again kind of skirting around the rules just a little bit is I had to kind of plan a vacation because there's just a lot of stuff going on in my life, and I just needed to kind of get away and kind of have some fun. So I decided to make a trip out to Disneyland, and I took some footage in there, and hopefully sometime soon, hopefully I'll have a video out. What I did was I took my sketchbook along with me to the park, and I kind of do a sketch inspired by each land of Disney. So hopefully I'll have that. But because of that, I kind of had to do like double the work up front before I went on vacation, and then also play catch up. So there were some times where honestly I didn't work on my comic, but I knew that going into it, and I've kind of got everything set up to where it wasn't going to be a problem. So like I said in the beginning, before I went on my vacation, I made it a point to get way more than those 30 minutes a day in for those days that I was away and I wouldn't have time to really work on my comic. And then I did get to work on it while I was out there. I got to work on it with Josh, and I worked on that
that Artcasters, I think because we were together, I think it went longer. So it might have been like a 2-hour show. I don't know. I don't remember what the time was. But so, 2 hours working on my comic while on vacation, that's the equivalent to about 4 days, which is about the length of my, length of my vacation. I think all in total it might have been 5 days with travel and everything. But so I didn't do every single day, but I more than made up for what's required for that challenge. So hopefully you guys will forgive me with that. But again, I'm just a pat on the back. I'm a little bit of a veteran at this, so I think I've done it successfully twice before, and so I think I can do those things. And like I said, I really needed a vacation. It was great to get out there again and draw cons with Josh and do the Artcasters, and then via the internet also with Corey Kerr, and just those two guys. I mean, I think as far as like internet friends, those are my two closest like internet friends, I think. So because Josh and I, every week we do Artcasters, and it's starting to be like at least once a week I kind of join in with their 24-hour art checks. So it's great. I mean, I would love at some point for us to all be together in the same room and do this kind of stuff. Maybe that'll happen someday. That would be really cool. But yeah, it was awesome to do that. And I just put out my video about, because I reached 10,000 subscribers on YouTube, and I got so many comments from that. And part of it was because it was kind of there's a giveaway involved, so if you comment. But a lot of these people, and not everyone feels the need to comment, and that's fine too. Some people just like to watch the video, but I think some of those people kind of came out in the woodwork that said they've been watching for a while and they never commented and everything. But I got so much comments and everything, and it's just really cool to know people, especially people that don't comment a lot, because they're out there and they're watching the videos and stuff, and they're part of the community too. And you don't have to be that vocal or whatever, but it's just really cool. I think all the people that I've met, or not necessarily in person, but just that I talk to in the comment section and on social media and in the chats and everything when we do the Artcasters. And it's just really cool how this community has grown around the 100 Days of Making Comics, and then and it kind of splinters off into different things like the art checks and all this other stuff and the stuff that I do. But yeah, it's super awesome. It's super awesome to be able to make comics with your friends and do all this stuff. So I'm just happy I got a chance to do that, and I'd like to do more of that. But anyway, so back to sort of the drawing. You can see I am just, this tool right here that you see that I'm using is sort of a rolling map ruler. And I had an old one that was kind of a chintzy one, but then Josh has a way better one than I do. But this is an awesome tool because you don't need a giant T-square and all this stuff. You just kind of set it up and it just kind of glides down the page, and you can rule your stuff out with it. It's really cool. I like using it, and I like, this is kind of it's more technical, but it's also a fun part of doing, starting off. I want to get all my stuff rolled out, and then hopefully I get some more to do, but after that I'll be able to actually, break out the inks and stuff and start doing some really cool stuff with the brush and everything. So that's what I'm looking forward to for next week. But you got to do this stuff first. You got to do the technical stuff first.
Okay, so there you go. That's what's going on this week for 100 Days of Making Comics. Yeah, I'm getting to that point where I'm really starting to see this thing come together. A couple weeks ago, I thought I was kind of falling behind, but I think I'm back at it. And and it was cool to get out there and meet with Josh and do the Artcasters live with him, and just kind of take my stuff on the road and sort of work on it here and there and everything. But now I'm back, and I'm looking forward to just put in a lot more time and get going further. And hopefully next week I will have actually some more like actual inks other than just ruling things out. I'm hoping to get this thing finished ruled out, and then start getting into actually getting that brush out and that ink and start inking some stuff. So that's what's coming up hopefully next week, and I will see you again for that update. Yeah, so I will see you guys later. That is all.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you like what you saw and you want to see more, hit that subscribe button. Also, you can follow me at Serkworks on social media. Do you like making comics? Then go to Serkworks.com and pick up the Comic Maker Starter Kit. It's packed full of fonts, brushes, templates, and more. And best of all, it's totally free.